as someone who writes now for the Trib and like stuff like that, I know that because I know for myself, as someone who's insanely competitive, the last thing I want is someone to ask me something like that. What I do is I walk up and I'm like, Justin, you probably do the same thing. It's like you have to do something else. It's like, what can you learn from this, or
Yeah.
what's the way? What good came out of this? But there,
Right,
but
right.
but sometimes I remember I did Ligonier Valley versus Olsh, and I asked Ligonier Valley's head coach, I said, what good came out of this? And he said, absolutely nothing. And I was like, I was like, where do I go now?
I mean, sometimes that's true though. Sometimes it's really true that yeah, it's nothing. You know, I've been in situations where the coach is like, we're not even going to watch film from this game. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we just gonna move on. Like we played so bad, there's no point even like watching this. We just gonna act like it didn't happen. Let's get ready for the next game.
Sometimes,
So it
sometimes that's how
happens.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it be that way. Like for you though,
Absolutely.
like I don't know like how prevalent like the press was like, 25 years ago after every game though, but for you, like did you ever have those feelings where it was like you just had like a really bad loss or it was like a close one that you came up short and then like you have like all these reporters like ask you questions like did you ever have that like not mentality, it's not the right way to phrase it, but like you're just like, man, I just don't feel like talking right now and like you just kind of kept to yourself, or were you just like an open book when it came to I interviews? yeah, I was more of the open book. Um, it never really bothered me. Okay. You know, it never bothered me. I think the only times that I had situations with the media is because I may have said something that my team or my coach didn't like. So you know, that's when I would have more of I remember one time we won by 30. We beat a team by 30. But it was a team, it was in a non-conference, a team we were supposed to beat by 30. And it was just an ugly game. This is my junior year. This is the year that we're supposed to be our best and, all of that stuff. Long story short, I felt like we wasn't a Final Four team. I feel like, Final Four teams would have came out and did better. So I said that to the media, and it was like, Page unhappy with 30-point victory. And it was like, so my teammates and my coaches like, bro, you could have just came into the locker room and said that. Like you didn't have to like go to the media and say that. And they were right. I could have just came in the locker room and was like, but I was not in the locker room at that time. I'm in a media, room. Like, I feel like, we're gonna mess around and lose if we play this way. You know what I'm saying? And that was kind of like just how I was feeling. But nonetheless, yeah. Um, that's kind of like the only time. Other than that, I just always tried to be, fair. I'm straightforward. It's easy. It's easy for me. So, and then I had Brandon, who was more of the bipolar one, depending on if we win or lose, the mood that he was in. We couldn't have both of us couldn't be that way. You know what I'm saying? So he's over it now. He's been in the business way too long to still suffer from that. But back then, depending on the game and what happened, he might not have been available for you.
I wasn't playing with Brandon Knight.
It was great. It was great. A guy who grew up around basketball. I learned a lot from Brandon. Um, you know, two things that stand out for me that I learned from Brandon was the first one. He taught me a few defensive of techniques, things that I could use that I would not have known unless he taught me. So, how to trail a person is one thing I got from Brandon. One thing with the business side of things, and how, practice is very important. So if you miss in practice or you're not available for practice, it's a reason for you not to play. He had to give me some game in that regard. And I have more of a confrontational approach when approaching players. So like I would motivate more through like I'm more of a fiery player if I'm coming to you and I'm talking to you. And he was the guy that told me that you can't yell at everybody. Okay. Some players don't respond to you yelling at them. You're gonna have to learn how to meet people, where they are. Some of them do respond to that. So you do that, but some of them don't. Okay. And he was the guy that had to tell me that as well. So, yes, that's three very significant things. Okay. That a guy who was just 1 year older than me, kind of gave me some game in regards to how to handle those things.
Yeah, and then how was it playing under Coach Ben Howland too?
I mean, Coach Holland was great. He a straight shooter, so and I prefer it to be that way because there's no passive aggressiveness, for lack of a better word or phrase. You know exactly where you stand with him. And I mean, that's just the best way for me. I want to know. So if it's something you don't like, tell me. Um, and I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, he is diligent with what he do. He's cool at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So um, it was great, man. He didn't really micromanage us. He allowed us to. I mean, he used to tell me the one thing that when I reflect on me and Coach Holland relationship, he used to tell me, I need you to shoot more. I need you to shoot more. You know what I'm saying? And I'm trying to figure out like where am I supposed to get these shots from? You call a play like all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like we getting out in transition and I'm able to like really do anything in transition because we play a slow brand of basketball. But it's like in those moments when we remember Dwayne Wade or in those moments where the going got tough, like those UConn games and stuff like that, he wanted me to rise to the occasion in those moments. And I was still playing, the way that we played all the time, unselfish, sharing the basketball. But at that time, you kind of need your guy to be a guy. You know what I'm saying? So that's what he was saying. I, he doesn't need to really tell me to do it. He kind of felt like I should just do it. So it took me time to really understand that it was in those moments he wanted me to be more aggressive.
Mhm. Yeah, and this leads me to just like the team as a. I just thought of a random question just to kind of relate it to the March Madness tournament. Is there any team this year that reminds you of like one of your teams when you played? Houston?
Houston,
Hmm?
without a doubt. Houston. Houston defense is suffocating. And I would go a step further and probably say they might be better at it than we were. They might be better at it. I really enjoy watching Houston play. They play my brand of basketball. Um, I just love them.
Mm-hmm.
Houston is I would pick them, but I feel like they run into the same thing we ran into, that it's hard to win with just that style. It could take you far. You could be very successful, but then you're gonna go up against a horse. And it ain't no defense you're gonna do to stop them. It just doesn't. And if your guy, if you ain't got one that know it's time, what Coach Holland was telling me, it's time. Okay, if you ain't got one that know it's time for you to rise to it, you out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's the difference. So if you don't have the Cooper flag, where it's like, yo, yeah, we don't forget the scheme, give it to him. Okay, you got to have one of those. You have to. So I think yes, Houston is that. Hopefully, I don't know if they have that guy. I don't even know if they play a brand that would suggest that a guy would emerge to be that. But I really enjoy watching them play.
Yeah, they're like you said, like they just smother you. Like that's
Oh my God.
yeah, and they've been like
Virginia
that.
was that way too. Virginia, the old Virginia.
Oh yeah.
Virginia was that way as well.
Mm-hmm.
I used to enjoy watching them play. Not that I don't like the scoring. Trust me, I love the scoring. But it's just something about the physical, you know, the physical style of defense that it's nothing better than that.
A couple years ago, I went down to see West Virginia versus Texas Tech down at the Coliseum just because, like, I was like, screw
That's
it.
unfortunate, but
I
okay.
know that's why I knew I shouldn't have said it, but anyway,
No, I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing.
I know. But the game was like 48-43, and I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, I'd rather this than a 92-90 game because I just
Really?
saw like the brand of defense because it was when Texas Tech had Terrence Shannon still, and it was like the defense was just crazy. Like sometimes there's joy in seeing a team trying to hold a team to like 30% shooting.
Yeah, that's Bob Huggin. Hugs squad, play with that chip because he has that chip. You know what I'm saying? Hugs was the coach of my former teammate, really cool guy. He invited me down to West Virginia because I have a bad rep with them. But yeah, I miss those West Virginia teams. Not to take anything away from, what they've done this year. I think the coach did a tremendous job, but you knew what you was getting yourself into when you played a Bob Huggins, coach basketball team. You know what I'm saying? So it's something about just that brand of basketball. I don't like the score like 48-43. We could do better than that.
Yeah.
68, 63 better, you know what I'm saying? But, I don't need 90. I just like the physicality, though. I like it when the referees let you play. Let them play.
I remember one year. I think Pitt had Steven. It was I don't know if it was Steven Adams the one year they had
Mhm.
him, but they played Cincinnati and it was like 44-43. It was yeah.
I remember that ugly game. I
I think
don't
it
know.
was
I don't know if that was him, but yes, I do remember a game that was that low scoring. Yes.
yeah. But then I also remember seeing like right after my birthday, like Rutgers beat Pitt 61-38 the one game. Like in
Uh-huh.
20 was it 2012? 2011, 12, I think.
Yeah. No, it's
Mm-hmm.
a shame that I remember some of these scores.
Yeah, and I just remember, I think it was like Christmas Eve of 2012 was the 44-43 for Cincinnati, or New Year's Eve, yeah.
It was a bad time to have a game.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a terrible
Terrible
time.
time. Yeah, we
Mm-hmm.
lost. We could have been number one in the country. We lost in Georgia on New Year's Eve.
Mm-hmm.
My junior year, had practice the next day because Coach Holland was mad, and we got kicked out of practice that practice also because it was New Year's Eve and it was New Year's Eve. We're just
yeah.
gonna leave it at or New Year's Day. We had practice because we lost on New Year's Eve. We had practice New Year's Day. We was trying to tell him not to do it. That was our first loss, number 2 in the country. He was upset. I get it, and you know that was that. He doesn't remember that, by the way.
He doesn't.
He doesn't remember that. Yeah, he doesn't remember, but I remember. I remember. That was one of the worst practices ever.
The people that dish it out don't remember it as much for some reason.
Yeah, I couldn't forget that. I couldn't forget it because it was a movie that in that 24 hours outside of the loss, and that was our first loss. We could have been number 1 in the country, and we lost. And that was a noon game at Georgia. And then we went to the South Side, Pitt South Side, New Year's Eve. Yeah, baby, let's get it. You know what I'm saying? So it was one of those, and we got practice the next day. So a lot of guys come in stagger, and then we older now. Ain't nothing coach can do about it now. We grown men. So yeah, a lot of us came to practice staggered in there, and it looked like we was staggered in there too. We couldn't even get through the first drill without turning the ball over. Think like it was ugly. It was ugly.
I do want to ask you though, so like Pitt basketball, the current state of Pitt basketball, obviously a couple years ago they made the tournament, won a couple games. Last year I had like another 20-win season. This year was kind of like a kind of slid back. So I don't claim to know everything about like college basketball, how it functions, how it operates though. But from your perspective, like what do you think are some of the things that Pitt needs to do to like get back on that track they were on like 2 years ago?
With the money, come up with the money. You know, unfortunate. I don't want to say unfortunately. Let me not lead that way. But the climate of today's basketball is going to basically to get the best player, you're gonna have to pay for it. Okay, so that's number one. Other than that, I don't like the revolving door. You're gonna have to be able to recruit and keep recruiting and keep recruiting. So I think a combination of getting I mean, that kind of evens the playing field, if you ask me, too. If there's a guy in the top 10 that's ranked in the top 10 of really good talent, we got to be able to get one of them. At least get him and be able to hold him here to be able to put something around him. Okay. Now you got the transfer portal, which means this is how you build your supporting cast. That's going to cost us some dough, too, because everybody is going to where they're going to get the bag, basically. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's priority number one. I don't think replacing a coach is the best way to go. People disagree with that, and I can't say that they don't make valid points. I just don't like the idea of having a revolving door. I'm not with it. You can't tell me that the guy don't know talent. You can't tell me that he don't know basketball. Okay. Jim Boeheim didn't win a damn thing for all those years until he got Carmelo Anthony and only won one.
Mhm.
Okay. And what are we talking about? A guy who's easy Hall of Famer. Okay. So everybody's really just a one guy away. Pitt doesn't have a blue blood reputation. So players want to run to Duke and North Carolina and Kansas and UCLA and, Kentucky. And then coaches after that. Rick Pitino, Cal, okay, Self. You know what I'm saying? I'm just keeping it real. Shaka Smart can coach. Really good coach. It's a lot of coaches that can coach. I think it's just more complicated, especially in today's market, to put together, a winning team. And we can't look at West Virginia and what they've done. We can't look at Louisville, because if it was just that easy, everybody would have done it. So it's complicated. I wish I did know. I don't know if I answered that question
Oh, you
or
did.
made it more complicated. You know what I'm saying? But I do think that if we're going to be tight with the money, we don't stand a chance.
Mhm.
I do know that for sure. Ain't nobody coming here just because they like the campus or nothing like that. I can tell you that right now. Not when the other one is hitting them with that bag. This campus don't mean nothing.
Right.
Okay, so we better get it together.
Well, case in point, too, I'll bring up Malik Thomas from Lincoln Park, for example.
Mm-hmm.
I truly believe that if this was 2008, 2009, you get Jamie Dixon in there, no NIL involved, I think Malik Thomas goes to
Oh,
Pitt.
yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. I think um it's hard not to go to Cal.
Yeah. Hmm.
And that's what I'm trying to say. You have Pitt, and let's be clear about something too. Um, we're too up and down. We don't as fans help the coach have a product that he can advertise. Let me be on the record and say that.
Yeah.
Okay. If we want to help them, if we care so much, we should show up so that when a recruit come in, they like the atmosphere, because I can guarantee you that would be better than them coming in here and there's 2,000 people in here. Guarantee it is better than the alternative. So all we can do is our part. So now to see that I sit in, the best thing I can do is show up.
Mhm.
The best thing I can do is show up until they put me in a position where I can do more. Any fan, the best thing we could do is show up, so at least the atmosphere looks like something a kid would want to play in.
Yeah, and I just know like some games for Pitt, like back in when they were Capel's first couple years. I mean, it felt like you were in a church. It was that quiet. Like it felt like you were in a Roman Catholic church, which like how it could be. Like everyone's quiet and stuff. That's what it felt like. It would
Oh,
be
for
like,
sure.
yeah, like you could
For
sit
sure.
wherever you want. Yeah, and if you're, I just know if I'm going into a place and it's completely empty, I'm not. I'm gonna pick somewhere that's gonna pack their
We in the
gym.
past. We
Hmm.
in the past. We got to let it go. I appreciate all the love, and trust me, I'll forever be grateful and appreciative. But we got to let those old days go. DeJuan Blair ain't walking through there no more. Chevy Troutman is not walking through there no more. Brad Wanamaker ain't walking through there anymore. Okay. Steven Adams ain't walking through there. Ronald Ramon ain't walking through there. Kyle Krauser ain't walking through there no more. Okay. We got to let them boys go and start embracing the youngins. I'm not saying that they don't, but it's just that they're always being compared to those teams. Those teams are ancient now. It's 2025. Okay. They're ancient. Let's let that go. Okay, we just building something new now. That is way back in the day.
And think about when they had success, though. When they had Blake Hinson, Nelly Cummings, that
Mm-hmm.
team that made the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
These recent teams are a lot different than the teams you played for. A lot different
Yeah,
than the team Jamie Dixon played for. Reason being
absolutely.
is the ACC is a different basketball conference than what the Big East was.
And they'll try to crucify. So you bring up a really good point because we didn't like Jamie. We got tired of Jamie brand of basketball. Am I right? We got tired of it
Yeah.
because Jamie was more of a micromanager. Do you
Mm-hmm.
understand what I'm saying to you? And it's hard to get players to want to come and play in a system like that. So now we got Coach Capel, who is given and trying to get players like Bub, who can create and make decisions and make shots. And he's doing that, but we see times where it feel like, why that shot? You know why we couldn't get a better shot than that? I'll tell you this. I bet you the kids would rather play in that. Said the kids he's recruiting would rather play in the style that he's running now than having him. So we got to take that into consideration. He can't micromanage. Nobody wants to play for a micromanager, so he has to make sure his product is appealing to the guys that he's trying to get to come in here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's hard, man. It's only one national championship national champion every year. And I think with what Coach Capel had to deal with off the court, injuries and things of that nature, that's out of his control. I think he's done a really good job.
Mm-hmm.
I do. I think
Yep.
he's done a good job with the climate, having to get new players, having to get them to buy in. I think he did well. Players in the league. Okay, so I just think that, like I used Boeheim earlier, he's probably one guy away. And timing. Carmelo Anthony didn't just. Jerry McNamara was somebody that people remember, right?
Mhm.
Hakeem Warwick is somebody that people remember. So it wasn't like Carmelo was surrounded by scrubs. That was a nice class. Okay, and it comes around. We got to wait for it to come around.
But that's what happened in 2023. I mean, you had Greg Elliott, you had Blake Hinson come at the same time. You had Nellie Cummings come from Colgate, Lincoln Park kid come over and play. Like it
Yeah,
was lightning in a bottle. And even last year, they should have made the tournament last year.
absolutely.
And you had Bub Carrington, freshman, come in, and then you had Blake Hinson's big senior year too. That team, I just never heard. It was like I looked through it. It's the first time ever that the fourth best team in the ACC didn't make like
Oh, we
a
got
top
jobs.
class team. Yeah, they got
We got jobs for sure.
and they took all these Mountain West teams and 6
Mhm.
of them lost in the first round.
Mhm. That's called yeah. And then it was only fitting that West Virginia got the same thing done to them because they was poking all that fun last year, and now they got to see exactly what it felt like. And both teams got jerked. Okay, we deserved to be in it last year. They deserve to be in it this year. I'm just calling a spade, but nonetheless. Which takes me back down that path is that, man, they gotta figure out how to just not miss so badly when it comes to this, because this is people's livelihood. Okay, like coaches can keep their job or lose their job for not making the tournament and things like this. This is can make your career or break it. So like treat it that way. Like this is not just come on. Right? It's just unfair, and it's not just, oh, unfortunate that he lost his job. Now he got to move his kids somewhere else. And you know what I'm saying? Like, come on. Like, we shouldn't just we got to do better.
And then people always come up with the excuse, oh, well, they make the money, they can do it. But still, how would you feel like if you had to move out, like move your kids to a whole new school and stuff like that? Like, these are still people, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, whether you have the money or not, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, like you're unemployed. You're unemployed.
Yeah.
I mean, the nature of the business is already hectic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And results driven for me to have done enough, to get in there and I mean, it is worse. You can be invited to the NIT and then they call you back and renege. And
that's crazy.
I mean, they could have done you like that. You know what I'm saying? So I guess y'all heard about that story.
Yeah, South Alabama. And then the coach has to tell their kids, hey, you guys ready to play in the NIT?
Right.
And then just like, that's unfair to put.
That is so bad. That is so bad. So yeah, it could be worse. It could always be worse.
You want Pitt, and then what's it called? I think West Virginia declined their NAT bid this year. I'm pretty sure, right? Or did they accept it?
I don't know. I don't even take no disrespect to the NIT. When I played in the NIT, I loved it. It was a great experience, especially since we didn't have any post play, years prior to making it. But I can understand the mindset of some teams not really wanting this, especially if you come from, one of those power conferences. I don't know. I don't think they have more to lose. What does what does Coach Capel? He doesn't get anything really. He get into the NIT and lose in the first round. It's more ammo for the we got to get rid of him rumblings.
Mm-hmm.
And then if he go to the championship game and even win the NIT, do anybody really care? Is fans really going to show up for this? That's what
Probably
I'm saying.
not. Yeah,
I
probably
think it's
not.
just
Yeah.
it's only a lose in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
They're only going to lose money, and he's only going to it's nothing for him to really gain. We just
Mm-hmm.
got to keep it real and let that be what it is. We don't have to act like we don't know that that's it. Just know that we don't care.
Mm-hmm.
We don't care. Okay, so and don't even think about the CBI. Okay, when Jamie did that, okay,
I
I was
remember that.
mad. I was tight about that one.
I
Don't
was
even think about the CBI.
you know what I was mad about when they lost to G Dub the one year. George
Mhm.
Washington. They lost first round at home, and Pitt just played a very passive, uninspired game.
Yeah,
And it's it was just I don't know. You remember that game? I'm
I
sure.
remember everything, and
Yeah,
yes, I
that,
remember it. Yeah,
that was as someone who watched Pitt basketball for a very, I think that was one of the because they made the tournament the next year and lost to Wisconsin in the first round. But that season though, I just remember watching that game. That might be the most uninspired game I've seen Pitt play. Honestly.
I do not disagree. It was ugly.
Mm-hmm.
I do not. Yes, uninspired.
And it was to George Washington too. Obviously, well, they were probably fired up to play that game too. You're playing
Oh,
a
they were. You,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
we can't get up for that. So again, the point that I made about us looking into the archives and wishing that it was the same kind of vibe, the fans didn't care.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They didn't. It was no energy behind that. What I'm saying. So we've outgrown it.
Mm-hmm.
We've outgrown it the same way Steeler fans have outgrown just making the playoffs. We're not satisfied with this anymore. We used to make the tournament all the time until we wasn't satisfied with just making the tournament anymore. We don't want to hear it, Jamie. You got to do something now. Okay. And that's just the deal. Our standard moves up. That's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Speaking of the NFL, though, Justin, do you have any questions about the NFL now?
Oh, I mean, I'm trying to think. Well, actually, I have one that's not really relevant. It's kind of like a throwaway question though, but your timeline at Pitt, it matched Larry Fitzgerald. So I was just curious, when you were in college, did you have any interaction with him, or was it kind of just like he was doing his own thing, just like playing football? Did you ever talk to him, anything like that?
Absolutely. It's funny that you bring him up specifically because we were just talking about Larry today
Oh, okay.
because someone asked about Revis. And if me and Revis was there at the same time, and I told them that I hosted Revis because he actually took a visit for basketball also, and that no, this was yesterday. This wasn't today, it was yesterday. And that Revis could actually hoop, and how mad I was when came back after I graduated and I'm watching Revis do the basketball team dirty at trees. I'm talking about, oh no, when we was in the auxiliary gym, he was giving these boys the business. And I was like, so we starting to let the football players come in here and run the pickup games? So when we start doing this? So it made me remember Larry, who can actually play basketball, us having that conversation at the Pete. And I'm like, Larry, come on. You don't see me coming out here on a football field like, yo, I just be joking when I say I'm a better receiver than you. I really be joking. Don't think that, you can really come out here. and do something with your boy. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't do me like that. But yeah, Larry's good people, really good person, really good dude. I haven't seen him since we went to an event years ago at Pitt. But yeah, that's my guy.
Pretty good wide receiver.
No,
Great wide receiver. Better person, though. Better person.
Oh yes.
Really good dude. Really good dude.
Yeah, he just seems like like what's it called? I saw my dad and I went to a Pitt game, and like Dan LeCart was there, who was one of the old tackles. He was saying how good of a person he is. Like you never hear anything bad about Larry Fitzgerald.
No, super humble, man, and better. He just a pro's pro, man. You know, we understand the work you got to put in. You know what I'm saying? He has the mindset you would want. You know, I would almost compare it to Kobe in a way. You know, Jerry Rice, you know, guys that you just hear put the work in that way and just know I gotta treat I guess even LeBron. You know what I'm saying? Just the way that they carry themselves as professionals and the way that they treat their body and treat everything as a professional. You know what I'm saying? He's in that category, like the ultimate professional.
Yeah, and that leads me to my next. I might as well keep asking. Like, speaking of professionals, who is like one player you maybe played against, or like just in college, high school, whatever, even pro? One player you played against that really stood out to you that was just bald, but just kind of took care of his own business too, and was just almost I don't yeah, like a good sportsman, I guess you could say.
Sportsman, oh, huh. That's an interesting question.
That's tough because I know the Big East back in the day, especially if you were playing West Virginia, there was no such thing as sportsmanship. So
No, definitely not. I would have to say, I mean, I didn't really any of my opponents, I didn't really talk to them like that. The only person who I would say that I communicated with a little bit was Andre Barrett. He was the only guy I would say, I was cool. Me and Talik Brown from UConn became cool after our playing days. So our relationship wasn't really anything until then. Um, but even Andre, I don't know. That's a really good question, though. I can give you the adverse, the guys who I really didn't like playing against.
any trash talkers? Any good trash talkers?
Williams at Syracuse, he was a year older than I was. We used to talk trash before the game because we had mutual friends. That used to be hilarious because he swore he was nice and he was buns. I hope he see this too, because even still to this day, I don't know what made him think that he was that dude. I don't just because he could shoot the three ball, but I do a lot more than shoot the three ball.
You played
Okay.
the
All
defense,
he
you
did was
dunked.
shoot threes. Please. And he used to try to call me a role player. I used to find it funny. Really? But anywho, that was light work. That was the beginning of me locking boys up, back in those days. Now he is somebody I might dust it up. I might dust the shoes off to get at him just because all of the trash we used to talk back in the day. But I wouldn't say major trash talking. Rutgers basketball teams talked a lot of trash at home. It was kind of a mutual respect, though. The guy from Notre Dame, Humphreys, Ryan Humphreys, used to always have this smile on his face. I just wanted to wipe that smile off his face. Every time he did something, he would have a smile on his face. I couldn't stand him. I couldn't stand him. Linehan had that too. Yeah, it was certain players. Joe Crispin at Penn State, he was a senior when I was a freshman. He lit us up for like 38.
Ooh.
38, yeah. He lit us up for like 38. I'll never forget the ball rolled in front of it was a loose ball that rolled in front of our bench, and he picked it up and shot it from right there, and that went in. And looked at our bench and started laughing. Oh no. That was the worst. I mean, he cooked us, and everybody got a piece of that. I probably got that 30 something. I mean, I didn't get none of it because he was lit. They ran a single double, two screens on this side, one screen on this side, and he kind of just choose which way he want to go. He was just this was just nothing for him. So I mean, I can go on for days. I can go on for days. It's a lot of headaches, a lot of guys, a lot of competition, a lot of guys I respect. But for me, I'm not talking trash to no Ben Gordon or none of the guys I was guarding because I'm not trying to motivate them. So I kind of just do what I got to do and hope that do a good job. I'm not trying to give you no reason to want to cook me anymore.
Yeah, I don't
No.
get for me, just having a smile on my face after doing something, or just don't even trash talk it. Just keep doing your thing. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy though. I did. Obviously, this is nowhere near the level of what you were at, but I did an adult league ice hockey league last year, and you got a lot of people thinking that they were the pros and stuff like that. And it's just like I just remember just being a bunch of 30, 40-year-old men just chirping me for no reason. Just go. And then I have it on. Justin knows. Justin was at a couple of my games because he was watching. And you go bar down. And if you just have a smile on your face and stuff like that, that just makes it all the worse for them. And I just remember, Justin, you were here for this. Remember, I got cross-checked the very next play.
Oh
Like,
yeah, I was a
yeah,
nasty hit, man.
I was like, people started hitting me in a non-hit league. It was crazy.
I hear it could get a little crazy out there in the adult hockey league.
LA Fitness basketball too. I don't know if you have any
Yeah.
stories there.
I heard, oh my God, yes. Of course. I used to be out there in my young days. LA Fitness was the spot to go. Now I don't even tie my shoes, man. I'm not trying, I'm old enough for the younger guys to not really know who I am at first sight. So then when I get out there and I start doing something, you always get the guy that, yo, man, I got him. And it's like, listen, bro, relax. Okay. I ain't the one, but I ain't really trying to do all of that. I got 2 games for you and I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying? But yes, it can get, you know, I used to enjoy it. I used to enjoy it, but I avoid it now. I'm trying to stay healthy enough to be able to continue to train my son.
Right, right.
Yeah. Well, Justin, you have any more questions?
Yeah, I have one more question for you.
Yeah,
So
go ahead.
NBA, man, we have to talk NBA because you're a basketball guy. So
Okay.
Thunder, Cavs, top of the conference right now. You have the Knicks, Celtics, Nuggets,
Hmm.
Lakers. No, there's a couple other teams you can throw in that conversation as well. The playoffs are next month. I know, March Madness is like main focus right now. But for you, who do you like coming out of both conferences this year?
Oh, that's a really good question. I don't really get fazed by the best record in the conference because some teams just have a formula. Usually, they play hard. So when you get the young teams like a OKC last year, they're gonna play hard all season. So you're not gonna really be shocked if they finish one, but then they don't make it because that's when the other guys start really playing for real. I don't think that's gonna be true this year. I do think that the Cavs is the best team in the East. They play with swagger. They play hard. They can make plays. They have playmakers. They got size down low. It's hard for me not to say that the Cavs is not coming out of there. In regards to the West, it's a little more complicated than that because I think that Denver still has the better roster. Jamal Murray, if you get Jamal Murray with Jokic, and then Gordon is healthy, you know what I'm saying? I think they have the better team, so I would have to lean more towards them. But the West is harder to pick. I wouldn't be shocked I mean, between Denver, OKC, I think those might be the only 2 teams I'm giving a legitimate shot to. I can't really take Minnesota serious. I like Ant, but he ain't coming out of the West.
That's
Not
fair.
with this roster. He's not coming out of the West.
And that,
I know Draymond said Golden State, but listen,
Ah,
they got a puncher's chance.
yeah,
They got the best shooter of all time.
they do.
And then Jimmy buckets in the playoffs. I mean, now he's in a joint where him moving around, he gonna get more ISO. He playing more of the Wiggins role now, and he's gonna be better at doing that than what Wiggins was.
Right.
They just don't really have the JaVale McGee or the Bogut, the size, that rotation down there that they had back when they was making those runs. I just don't really think. I think they missing
Salsa
that.
Pachulia too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, you're right. No, you're right.
He was
Absolutely.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he did his role. You need the rotational bodies in that. I don't think they have them.
hmm
So
They, yeah, there's
you know,
that's what they lack is size. I think
mhm,
like Kevon Looney's like probably one of their bigger players, and like
mhm.
yeah, that's an issue, especially knowing that these other teams like not like who's gonna guard Nikola Jokic.
Nobody. I
Yeah.
mean, nobody's going to guard them. But I don't even. They don't. They just not as deep. They don't. Livingston was coming off the bench. They just seem like they have more bodies.
Oh
And I
yeah,
don't.
Leandro
The
Barbosa
rotation. I don't.
too. hmm
Yeah. I don't. I just don't know if they're as deep. Am I missing anybody? Well, okay. I will say this. Houston is a lot better than what I thought they were.
No, yeah,
Oh
he's
yeah.
yeah.
Houston is a lot better than what I thought they were. And not saying that they could go to the finals, but Detroit is better than what I thought they would be this year.
Yeah.
Okay. Orlando is better when healthy.
Healthy.
Orlando is a really good team. They went through some injuries, though. So I don't know how healthy they're going to be. But when they were healthy earlier this season, they were rolling. Okay, so we got to get there and see who's healthy and stuff
Yeah.
like that because they did have some sleepers this year. Orlando, Houston, Detroit all surprised me, and I like the brand of basketball that they play.
Justin, you know who I think's taking it.
Who's that?
Guess.
The Celtics.
The Lakers. I don't know. You tell me.
Negative.
What's my favorite team, Justin?
Oh, you said Cavs.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
That's why I said that. Didn't I say that or no?
Did you? I didn't hear
The
it.
Cavs got a
Oh,
really good. I
yeah.
think they really do. I think they might be. It was hard for me to say it. It's still kind of hard. Because just the playoffs, man. I just feel like everybody else really turned it up a notch. Are the other guys to use Shaquille O'Neal's reference? When it's playoff time, will the Cavs other guys show up the way that they've been showing up during the regular season?
Right.
If they do, obviously good for them. But history says it's not likely. Okay, I hate to sound that way, but they just remind me of OKC of last year.
Yeah, that's a good point too, because it's like that the Cavs were down 25-3 against the Celtics the other night. Came all the way back and win. Does that happen in the playoffs?
Negative.
Mm-hmm. But for
Negative.
me, my dad took me to a Cavs game when I was 12 years old. I luckily got to see Kobe play that year when he had Dwight Howard. That was just took a 2-hour trip up there. And that was when Kyrie did the little up and under on Kobe. Ever since then, that's been my team. Kyrie, that was when they only had 24 wins. So with the Cavs being the best, I understand that the Celtics, like logically, I feel like the Celtics are just. I mean, I think they could go back to back very easily, but in my heart, I have to pick the Cavs.
No, I know what you mean, man. I went to a few games like during that lull stretch. CJ Miles was playing, Tristan Thompson. Those were all starters. Cody Zeller.
Lonzo G.
I mean, there was like a period there where it was kind of rough though. But like, I mean, I am pulling for them though. Like to be honest with you, I'm not gonna lie. So
Cool team.
Who was
It's
your
weird
team,
because it's
Jonah?
a Cleveland team. I've never had an NBA team as a favorite. If I had to choose one, it would probably be the Knicks. But I've only liked players.
Mm-hmm.
Even in football, also Steelers was more. People are shocked. I had that conversation that I grew up as a Steelers fan, and you know, I was a Cardinal Lake. Rod Woodson, Greg Lloyd. Those guys. I really dig them. Kevin Green. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Oh
said, I
yeah.
used to watch inside the NFL. You know what I mean? And as a kid, when they going through every game and breaking it down, it was something about the Steelers I just really liked. But Lawrence Taylor was my favorite player growing up. Dion, obviously, so I just like the players.
No, yeah, and who would you say your favorite basketball player was growing up? Like,
Growing up, I
because you
mean,
grew up in the
everybody's gonna
'90s.
say MJ, right? Every MJ is just obviously that's number one. So it goes without being said to say MJ. But AI and Mike Bibby, I think, is the reason why I really wanted to play basketball. What AI did, Marcus Camby. It was around that time when Marcus Camby was at UMass and AI and um Terry Kittles and all of these players, you know what I'm saying? Ray Allen. Um, man, it was just around that time when I used to record and watch Mike Bibby and like really try to see what he was seeing and how he got his shot off and stuff like this. Is back when you had to record it with a VCR and all of that. You know what I'm saying? I might not know nothing about that. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, no, that I was a guard, so I'm trying to, learn from those guys, but I would have to say AI. What AI did, and then the commercial and the crossover and then the tattoos, AI, man, couldn't tell me nothing about AI.
Well, speaking of AI, you said earlier in the podcast that you talked about practice with Brandon
Practice.
Knight. he,
Oh yeah. Some players don't need it. AI is
he's
one of
one of
those
them.
guys that don't, yeah, yeah. He don't need it. He's just talented and so it is such a thing,
He was.
that some guys just don't need, they just gonna ball regardless, but I wouldn't advise anybody to subscribe to that. I wouldn't do it, but it worked for him.
He won
Imagine
that
that.
team to the finals. That one team.
Come on. Eric Snow, Mutombo, Theo Ratliff.
Yeah.
Um,
Old Matumbo
was
though.
Larry Hughes
Matumbo
on that
was.
team? Was Larry Hughes on that squad? I
Oh,
don't even know if
I don't
Larry
think
Hughes
he
was on that squad.
was.
He might have left by then. Aaron McKee, Eric Snow, AI, Theo Ratliff, Mutombo. They might have had Geiger, I think, was on that squad. Matt Geiger. Man,
I
it's a
think.
shame I can remember some of these people. Matt Geiger subbed in for Mutombo. Oh, wait. Lynch was on that squad. I think Lynch and Ratliff was at the four. Yeah, I mean, I got a good memory. I guess I ain't that old after all.
You do. You do have a memory. That's what I'm saying. You're not that old.
no. No.
You
So
got
yeah,
the.
that Larry Hughes AI combination was something serious. But he just came in, man. That was like the first time, I don't know what it was about AI, but even in Georgetown, man, I tell people still to this day, to me, AI was the one that made the Concord 11s what they are. It wasn't even MJ. I feel like he made the Concord 11s more popular than MJ did.
Mhm.
So, in my opinion. Okay, so I remember those with the Georgetown. Come on, Uni. That man was killing. He was killing.
Georgetown's that. I mean, think about the players that came through Georgetown though. Like you got AI, Patrick Ewing, obviously. Yeah, and
Alonzo,
Reggie Williams too. Just that team
Victor
was just
Page.
yeah. Even more recently, Bradley Beal came out of there, and Otto
Mhm.
Porter Jr. came. Like that
Wait,
team.
Bradley Beal didn't go to Florida?
Oh, he
Hey,
went to Florida. I was thinking Otto Porter that year. Otto Porter, my fault.
Porter.
They were in
Right,
the same
right.
draft. Otto Porter went there too, though. Even more
Otto
recently.
Porter went
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
But
They had a
yeah,
few. They had a run. Yeah, they had a run,
yeah. That's so.
without a doubt.
Yeah, but no, I do want to say too. Like you mentioned, Larry Hughes too, and it's like people always say LeBron didn't have anyone on that 2007 team. Yeah, I mean, Larry Hughes was a good player.
I don't remember Larry Hughes. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? He could score. He had a smooth game. He could play the one or the two for you, probably even a three. You know what I'm saying? But I don't, he kind of just, I don't know what happened to him. He remind me, I'm gonna get killed for this one. Uh, kind of like Jamal Crawford in a way. He remind me of Jamal Crawford in a way that they just a
Mhm.
bucket waiting to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like a guard with a handle that could shoot the ball. Probably not as good. Jamal Crawford is another guy. I should have mentioned him. Jamal Crawford was the first guy to wear number one that I know, that I ever seen at Michigan wear number one. And Jamal Crawford was that dude. I'm like, who is this guy? Okay, so he the one that made number one a thing. Jamal Crawford, in my opinion. Nobody can ever change that. He is the first guy. When I think of the coldest cat that ever wear number one, Jamal Crawford, Michigan. Okay, so I just had to throw that one in there.
Oh, and he was what's it called? I'm just like his ball handling is crazy, but I just
Oh
remember
my God.
it's like yeah, I remember seeing videos of him in that one pro-am just absolutely shredding people.
That man game is sick. And I mean, he played a very long time, had an outstanding career. It would just be interesting what it would have been like had he been like the guy. You know what I'm saying? What it would have looked like if he was the go-to guy and got to just shoot and gets like a whole bunch of minutes and do what he want to do the way that we give like the green light to the superstars. What would Jamal Crawford have been if he played those kind of minutes and was taking those kind of shots all game long, basically?
Mm-hmm.
What we would have seen.
Yeah, because like when he
Basically a
went to the
taller
Clippers,
AI.
if you went when he went to the Clippers, he was a sixth man the rest of his
Mhm.
career practically. So,
A
but I
spark
mean
off the bench.
yeah, and he was still
Mhm.
getting almost 30 minutes a game. But imagine, like you said, imagine if he got 34,
Mhm.
35 minutes a game. Just put him on like a who was a bad team in like 12, 13. Like replace him with Kemba. Like imagine him like playing for the Charlotte Bobcats. Like just every play, just taking it up.
Easily. Easily. But I guess you'd rather play for a contender than to be on one of those bad teams just getting buckets.
Hmm.
I'm sure it's hard to just do that, depending on who you are. But Jamal, I'm sure, competitive. I'd rather be the sixth man on this good team than to be the guy on a team that's going to be picking number one every single year.
Jamal Crawford though, he's a tank. I
Mhm.
I don't think we my dad always took us to NBA games. I trying to think if I've seen him play once. Yeah, with the Clippers back in.
Maybe like 2013, 2014, that time frame.
I saw it was after it was
Oh,
2016.
16, okay.
It was the year the Cavs won it all. I remember because I got a tip off, like the little tip off programs. Tristan Thompson was on the cover of it. I remember that. Yeah, they had Chris Paul that year. They had like Blake Griffin. It was like It was still Lob City,
Lob
but
City, yeah.
like I feel like their window, like even though they were good that year, their window kind of closed before that year. You know.
Yeah.
Team.
Mhm.
It was a good team.
That was a really good team.
Yeah.
That was one of the better teams in the 2010s that never won anything for sure.
Yeah. That 2010s. Oh, yeah. Okay. So the Phoenix Suns was before them. Because Phoenix Suns was really good.
Oh,
With
Oh
yeah.
Steve
yeah.
Nash, Barbosa,
Yeah.
Sean Marion, Amari Stoudemire. That was a really good squad also that never got it done.
Yeah. Shoot.
Yep. A whole bunch of teams like those old Pitt teams that never got it done. The old
I tell you what,
Yep.
that
A whole bunch.
2003 Pitt team was pretty good. I wish they got.
Yeah. We wish they would have got it done, right?
Sorry, Julius, my
It's all
fault.
good.
But
It's all good. It's all good. It is all good.
it's all in fun.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, but
Absolutely.
seriously though, like those Pitt teams, man, I just remember being a kid, growing up, seeing the Jamie Dixon Pitt teams. I was just even win or lose, I didn't matter. It didn't matter to me. I was just happy to see Pitt being a one seed every year. I know some people are like not content with them never winning, but the true Pitt fans were always happy with a Big East title, being that one seed. Like the work you guys did even when you guys grew up playing. Like my dad still tells me stories about the late '90s, early 2000s Pitt teams. Like, yeah, it was awesome to see.
Sure, we'll be back. we'll definitely get it together. I mean, we're not that far. I think this team started out hot and, like most teams, hit stretches where, they got flat or they had injuries and then you got to take into consideration that, guys are playing different roles also. That it wasn't the same. The dynamic was different. We were familiar with each other. Now they got the portal. You kind of rolling out, different units. Blake is not here, an instrumental piece from last year. So it's gonna be like that now. So I don't think we should really compare because just the job is different now. It's totally
Yeah.
different.
And that's what we were talking about earlier too. It's
Totally
just like the
different.
fact that like just the play of the ACC as a whole. Like if you watched Pitt versus UConn, it seems to beat DeJuan Blair going at it. You're not seeing
Yeah.
that anymore.
No,
Mm-hmm.
no. You're not even seeing it that way anymore.
In any
You're absolutely
division,
right.
really. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, the game's changed. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
absolutely right. So you can't expect that brand to be that way. And I'm sure people are not going to like this comment either, but ACC just ain't really what it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not really what it used to be. You know what I'm saying? Back when, I mean, I ain't gonna say back when like Duke still ain't Duke, but it just was different.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really, I don't get that feel that I used to get. I kind of feel more that the Big East is closer to what the Big East was than what the ACC is, in
What
my
the
opinion.
ACC? I
Yeah.
agree with that because I just
So,
even when I was a kid seeing Ty Lawson, Danny Green,
hmm
Tyler Hansbrough taking the floor, it's like
hmm
that's UNC right there. And it's
hmm
like I don't know. It's just like it's a different feel when you see them go out now, and
hmm
yeah, it's just a different feel than it was.
different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know what's going on with the shakeup and the realignments with these conferences, but I hope they hurry up and figure it out. Start renaming some of them. I don't know how. It's like 100 teams in some of these conferences, for crying out loud.
Yeah, there's 17 teams in the ACC now, and crazy.
I mean, listen, is who in Cal is in the ACC? It's time to change the name.
Yeah,
We
seriously.
can't have a team in California near the Pacific in the Atlantic Coast Conference. It just doesn't make sense. Let's change the names now.
APCC, Atlantic Pacific.
They're not hiring you to rename it. I'm just gonna let you know that.
No, they should. As they shouldn't. I do something funny on purpose. Honestly, I can't take anything seriously.
Without a doubt. It's all good.
Yeah, what do you name it though? It's like
They gotta do something, but a lot of
seriously.
these conferences gotta, change it up. So
The Big
it
Ten's
is
gonna
what
have
it is.
45 teams one year. Like seriously.
Big 10, Big 12. They might, I don't know what's gonna happen, but all I know is SEC look like king right now.
Oh my gosh.
The SEC football, basketball wise, I don't see if you a top recruit, you shouldn't consider going anywhere. But I'm just keeping it real.
Baseball
So
as well too.
Baseball SEC is pretty really good.
baseball too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got
Huh.
Vanderbilt. You have
LSU.
Texas is always good. One of
Yeah.
my friends played for LSU too.
Hmm.
So it's a sack. Like think about uh Vanderbilt, like David Price and Pedro Alvarez. Oklahoma's another team that's in there now. It's like that the whole conference is stacked. Like if you say Vanderbilt, you have all these teams players like Brian Reynolds and Dansby Swanson. Like the SEC is like how the ACC was for baseball. Wait, how do I say that? The SEC for baseball is like ACC was for basketball back in the day.
I understand.
Yeah,
I got you.
yeah, but no, yeah, look into it. The SEC's crazy.
I thought a lot of the baseball players for went like college. I thought they came straight out of high school. I
Yeah,
didn't know that they really went to college that way.
some do, some don't. Like some,
Okay.
for example, Skeens, for example, played for LSU. Like
Okay.
some people will play a year and then like the thing that's interesting with baseball is like you can get drafted. So for example, Paul DeYoung played for Illinois State. he gets drafted by the Pittsburgh Pirates in like 2011. And what happens is he got drafted late round, but he's allowed to go back to college and not sign with the Pirates. So he goes back to college, and then the next year he ends up being a third round pick. So it's a lot different because some people use.
So he was able to get drafted twice?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
There was another player too, Mark Appel, who was the first overall pick he was a first round pick for the Pirates, and he ended up not signing with the Pirates, went back to college for a year, and then he got drafted first again, then signed with the Astros because he didn't want to play with the Pirates.
Oh no, that is dirty.
But it backfired though because he ended up he never made the MLB, which was crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
He might have gotten called up.
Crazy.
He might have gotten called up at one point, but it wasn't for very long. If he did, it was. I don't even remember because that's how like long ago it was. But yeah, that didn't work out for him.
That's hilarious though. Yeah. You want to talk about a player's market? You could get drafted and just be like, nah, I'm gonna go back and then come back out another time and get retried. That's hilarious.
Yeah, there's so many instances where like the Pirates have. Oh, like they drafted this star. I don't have any off the top of my head, but like they drafted this star player before, but he ended up going to college instead. Or some players, like the Pirates drafted Connor Griffin this year straight out of high school. Now what he's doing instead, he's going all the way from the bottom of the Pirates system. There's low A, high A. He's working his way all the way up to the major leagues. For example, though, Wyatt Langford for the Texas Rangers played 3 years of college baseball. So when he got drafted, he didn't have to do all that work through the minor leagues. He was able to play pretty much immediately. Same with Paul Skeens. Yeah. It's a lot. Baseball is like a different animal than all these other sports when it comes to like lower, like you have to play low A, high A, double A, triple A if you're getting drafted out of high school. Like a lot, like your average rookie age is probably 24 to 26 years old in baseball.
I mean, they could play a lot longer. I think their lifespan of their career is a little longer, not as rough on the body. So that would make sense.
Yeah, like Jacob deGrom, for example, like his rookie year he was 26 years old, but whenever he hit his like some players like R.A. Dickey didn't hit his prime until he was like 35. Like it's crazy. It's not like basketball, hockey, football where you have like a small gap where you're playing at the best of your game. You could play the best of your game for like look at Barry Bonds. He played the best of his career from 1987 all the way up until the end of his career.
Reinvented himself a little
bit. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
a little bit.
A little bit.
That's for sure.
That's a whole other topic. The whole Barry Bonds topic.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Became a different guy.
But yeah. Anyways, yeah, I think that's probably a good stopping point for us, though. It was great having you, though.
No, it was.
My pleasure. It was a pleasure. A lot of fun.
We have to do this again.
Keep it up. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Absolutely. I'm headed to North Carolina for this women's tournament, hoping that they could at least get one. Since I got to drive down there and I just came from Rhode Island. So just do me a favor and get one. Just get one.
Yeah.
Just get one.
I have a visitor who just came in. Oh, no.
What's going on, Pops?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I mean, I heard you, man. You're lighting these guys up. I love it.
It's my pleasure, man. I enjoy it.
All the knowledge. I was trying to give him some stuff to talk to you about. He's like he wasn't listening to me.
He got it. Yeah, I got it. He like I got it. I'm cool. Yeah,
Julius,
my daughter would do the same thing.
You got to play one-on-one. One-on-one.
I'm telling. Listen, if you love your dad, you wouldn't set him up for that.
I'll stand there and you just go right by me. I'll wait. In fact, as you drive, I'll get the assist to your dunks.
I'm not driving. I'll tell you that. I'm not driving at all. I'm shooting all jump shots.
You know what? And I'll just watch. I'll watch you.
I don't do any driving anymore.
I don't even think my hand can reach your face, so you're gonna get clean looks. So
I got the little guy. He has all the athletic ability now.
So you're younger one. I can't wait to see you play.
Yeah, he's getting there.
I can't wait to
Working
see
every
you.
day.
That's gonna be awesome. I was telling Tony, one of the first times I saw you play was in 2000. Actually, you know what? It was 2001 when you guys played Penn State at the Fieldhouse.
Okay.
And they were dumb. They decided to go man to man with you guys. And they put this kid from Montour on you named Darren Telsch. I don't know if you remember that or not. And you basically, you got the ball on the wing. Someone set a screen. You did 2 flushes in a row, one on him, and then again they ran the same set, and you did it again. So it was 4-0 Pitt. You had 2 dunks, and all of a sudden they went from a man to man to a zone. I laughed. I was thinking that's the best decision. You guys beat him by like 40 that game. That was one of the coolest games I ever watched.
That's cool. I wish I could find a footage of that.
It was the first 2 buckets of the game. And they went man. I'm thinking this is gonna be.
We owed them one too, because the year before that they beat up on us.
You guys went up there. Yeah, that was you were young and they were a little bit better. But then they came to Pitt. That was ugly.
Who'd you say dropped 38 again? 38 for
Joe Crispin.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember watching that game. I actually shut that off. I was watching it. I shut that off. I don't like Penn State anything. Let alone watch you guys beat up. I just shut that off.
Yeah. I don't blame you. I don't blame you for shutting that one. No.
I watched that game. I was thinking, I am not going to sit here another 5 minutes and watch my boys get beat up like this.
That's hilarious.
You said they were setting the double screens. He was just coming around.
Double. Yeah.
He can shoot though. That guy can really hit him. He can shoot.
Absolutely. They put me in there on him in the second half, like I was going to do something. Well, I mean, he didn't went through everybody else. We might as well see if the freshman could do something with him.
Yeah, that's tough too. But I was telling these guys too. You and Jerron Bryan played such really good defense that that was one of the things that turned that program around. So
without a doubt.
Do you remember the tournament you guys played at RMU?
Yes, I do.
Thanksgiving.
South Florida was in it. South
Florida, yeah. You guys played Oakland, then you played Illinois State.
Yeah.
That you played on Black Friday. It was like the day after Thanksgiving. I don't know if you probably don't know if you remember. I actually told his mother that I'm going to work so I can go watch you guys play.
I remember we lost in the championship game.
Yeah, to South Florida.
Two players that was on that team, or one player played on that team that I went to Spain that I told you guys about.
Mm-hmm.
He was on that team. He was a sophomore, I think. He was one of their best players. But yeah, I'll never forget that.
Yeah, that was a good. That was a fun tournament. I actually sat out there and watched every game. It was cool because Kent State was in that tournament too.
Really?
Yeah, they played South Florida. They lost to yeah, they were. It was you. It was Pitt, Illinois State, Oakland, RMU, South Florida, Kent State. It was a good in RMU. It was a good tournament. They had that Huffman kid. They had Antonio Gates.
Yeah, Huffman. Yeah, he could play. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, they were good. They thought I was working. I was out there watching hoops all day.
That was a good one.
What year was it?
That was 2002.
So that was
2001.
Yep. 01, 02. Yep. My sophomore year.
Yep. I remember. I knew you guys were going to be really good when you guys played St. John's, like right after New Year's, and beat them by 40. They kicked Mike Jarvis out. I was like,
Marcus Hatton was on that squad. Yep.
That was a lot of fun.
I remember that game.
Yep. Oh, you guys jumped on him. It was ugly. He was having it. He was going. They kicked him out like in the first half.
Oh yeah, I remember. Remember that. We played that one, and then we played Boston College and beat Boston College.
Up there.
There.
Yeah, that's when they had Troy Bell. They were good. That was a good team.
I held them to 8.
Yep, I remember that.
Troy Bell was.
Then you guys beat him in the tournament too. You beat him in the Big East tournament too. Mm-hmm. I remember that too. So those are fun times, man. Those are the best Pitt teams.
Yeah, they were up there.
Oh yeah, they were.
Absolutely.
They're my favorite teams anyway.
Mine too. I think they were the best. It's debatable to a lot. I mean, whoever's we're getting compared to, the guard is getting locked up. That's my motto.
When I was a kid, though, like growing up, Sam Clancy was my guy. He was something else.
Sam.
Yep. They got to meet him at Uncle Sam's the one day.
I got Sam right here. Look it. Ha
Something else. He was so good.
We met. Like he was just in Uncle Sam's eating, and me and him walked up to him, and he was the nicest dude ever.
Nice guy.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
He was the first double guy before Devon Blair was. You know?
For sure.
Yep. So
Absolutely.
I don't want to hold you back. I just wanted to say hi.
It's all good.
So good
Good to see you, my man.
as always, man. You know that.
No doubt about it. You already know it.
Yep.
My man.
All right.
He has to come on for the full time next time.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let me know when. Let's do
Let's
it.
run it back. Yes.
Keep me posted. We'll do it again.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and also too, like if you ever did want to hoop and wanted to hoop with your son, we have like a half court in our backyard. So if you ever are bored
I
one
run
day,
through one time.
What's-
Yeah, we'll slide through one of these days.
let's do it. Yeah.
Without a doubt.
What's that?
We'll make it happen.
Yeah, our court is Pitt colors. Yeah, it's like a nice half court in the backyard.
I'm gonna have to come check it out.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. Yeah, ask Justin, you have fun playing, right?
Oh yeah, it's quite the experience.
All right, Justin, we're gonna have to get you. We're gonna have to get over there.
Hey, Justin, do you enjoy watching me and my brother sweat?
It's a watching experience. That's the best way I can put
It's
it.
entertaining.
Yeah.
Well, I'm the middle child, and my older brother and my younger brother are both taller than me, so I get a little heated sometimes out there because I'm like, you know how basketball is when you're a little bit shorter and you're going up against someone taller. You gotta do something. You gotta play with a little more fire, you know.
Lean into him a little bit.
Yep.
I got you.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
But yeah, no. Anyways, but yeah, we appreciate you coming on. Though it was
doubt.
awesome. Yeah.
My pleasure. My pleasure. My pleasure. I appreciate you, gentlemen. Y'all keep it up, all right?
Yeah, you too. Yeah.
And just let me know whenever y'all need me. You know what I mean? I'm a text away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we appreciate that. Yeah, and Justin, I don't think we ever did an intro for this, but
No, I can add something later. It's all
we
good.
could. Yeah, Justin, you
Chop it up. Yeah, it's long anyway.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Might have to chop it up anyway.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Definitely have to. So
It's better for the engaging experience to break them up.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Clips and stuff like that.
Right.
But yeah, we'll do it again.
No,
Let
for
me know
sure.
when. And I'm gonna take this dog out because he keeps circling around me. I'm coming, man. I'm coming.
UNC's up 29-13, by the way, right now.
I picked them to win, but it's okay.
I picked them over Ole Miss
early.
too.
They're going fishing early.
Mm-hmm.
All right, gents, I'm gonna get out of here.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
All right, you too.
I'm going, Julius. Yeah. See ya.
Yeah.
You too. Mm-hmm.
Bye.
Yep.